Any questions? Cream?
Hey, Shvante, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Question, Mike was saying, a lot of folks are banged up and sounded like you only had like about 7 people to go yesterday. So I'm just curious, what were you guys able to do today?
Yeah, we're a little banged up, but that don't stop the grind. One man down is another person's opportunity. We're just really taking it slow, focusing on the things that we need to focus on. I think the biggest thing right now for us is our offensive spacing. Just trying to find a rhythm within each other, know each and everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and also just communicating better on the defensive end. So yeah, we are a little bit banged up, but that's not gonna stop the grind.
Oh yeah, for sure. Is it a good time to have this week of no games? You guys don't often get a stretch that's this far, and I know you guys had kind of, been grinding at the beginning of the season. So is it a good time to kind of be able to kind of regather a little bit?
Oh, it's always a good time to regather. I feel like when you have games every other day or every 2 days, but factor in the travel, when we get in cities or when we leave in our city, it can be a toll on the body. So just having this week to prepare and actually rest some of the banged up ones is pretty good for us.
Cool. Quick and easy for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Natalie?
Forgot to unmute. Just a quick question about Dan Hughes's retirement announcement.
Right.
I know you were previously on the Storm. Do you have any comments, or if you've reached out to him, just what are your thoughts?
I haven't reached out yet because I actually just heard the news of Coach Hughes retiring. But he meant so much to the game. I had a great time out with him in Seattle. Great coach, great organization. And I feel like when it's time to walk away from the game. I know it was pretty hard on him to even announce the retirement, but it's good he left on his own terms and now, pretty much forced out. So it's an honor that I have played for him out there in Seattle, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Christy?
Hey, Shavante.
Hey.
Hey. Okay. Just having this week, just to, like you said, get the spacing together and everything like that. Coach told us yesterday, like Kareem was saying, that it was, a lot of breakdown drills, a lot of 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, and that's old school and it's necessary, right? So
Back to the basics.
I love that. I love that so much. But how, as a veteran, are you able to, really exceed in that environment and in terms of sharing how important these things are to understand and know?
It's important, especially being a vet, to have these breakdown days and breakdown drill days. As the game goes on, you kind of slip up on a couple, fundamental things, whether that's knowing how to get the ball in the post or being, there on the closeout or any little small detail. And I think, just having coach with this week, just start breaking things down little by little. Like you said, we have been doing a lot of 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, 4-on-4 breakdowns, just to help us. I feel like with it being somewhat a new team, it's a lot of people that don't know each other. Although, I've been in the league 11 years, or you have Leilani or even Tina who missed the game last year, or Tosh. Some of us don't know each other's weaknesses and strengths. So just having this week of like fully preparing and getting to really know each other, moving the ball, getting our spacing, together, it helps us in the long run.
Right. And with that being said, with Maisha being added into the mix, and then Leilani getting ready to go out of the mix because of the Olympic team, like what kind of challenge is that like for the team to have players in and out? And like you said, getting that chemistry piece going, how tough is that to have players in and out now, also because of a couple of players being banged up on top of that?
This is extremely difficult. Like you said, the beginning of the season, a lot of people came to the season late. We didn't even have our full roster for training camp. During the first 2 games, we started adding pieces. And like you said, coming up soon, Leilani got to leave, or maybe Vatina if she makes the USA national team, which I think she should. Then we'll have that piece missing. So then it's like, how do we get everything back intact when those, girls go, and when those girls came in? It's a slow process, but I thank God that we have like a veteran crew. So we know what it kind of takes. I know it's not going to be easy. It's definitely a challenge for all of us, but as long as we stay together and not fickle out because of frustrations of how we can't get it together and why is this person leaving and this person is injured, as long as we stay intact with each other, I think that's what makes it great to have a team.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think that's it. Thank you, Shivani.
Perfect. Thank you.
Just to, oh, okay, I'm good. Okay. Eric, just having this week to kind of boil down with the basics, if you will, and work on the spacing. Mike was talking about that yesterday a little bit, Shavante and a couple of players as well, Leilani. How important is that in terms of the overall development of those fundamentals of chemistry that you're trying to create as well?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's hard to do it when you're on the fly and playing games. Especially like we got Maisha here now, who was such a big part of our team last year and really hasn't had time to practice with us. And we have to, the ones that haven't played a lot with her need to figure out how to use her. She's got to figure out how to fit with them. But it's not just her. I mean, I'd say like learning our own personnel is probably a big piece of this week. What is Tosh like for a screen? What is Leilani like for a screen? Where do we want to set them? How do we want to space away from them? You can talk about it in between games or watching film, but you actually need some reps to go through it so they can see what you mean.
No doubt. And just with that being said, just with your vets that you have on the team, like Tina, Leilani, Shavante, and Elena Deladon too, and Alicia Clark, even though they're not out there with the team, how important is it to hear all those voices as well as the coaching staff in those instances on what players do like and how they like to read out of actions like that?
It's huge because we have our own ideas as staff, or you might even think like, hey, they like to come off a drag screen this direction, but they go, actually, no, I like to set it like this so that I can, if they play me a certain way, I can adjust and come. So having their voice in it is huge. And a big thing that we've talked about from a communication standpoint is they have to start learning to talk to each other and give each other some directive. Not as a big like blame, but just, hey, I need this, or I want, when I come up the floor, I see this. Tosh is more than willing to speak up, but it has to be kind of across the board. Like you mentioned, that group of vets, they've got to kind of impose the things they're seeing and know about their own games into the group.
Thank you.
Oya Saxa, Christy.
Kareem.
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Hey, Kareem, how are you?
Good. Actually, I just wanted to follow up on something that you just said. You're talking about kind of communication, and especially with vets and things like that. Is that sometimes a product of, I know everybody's kind of new teammates, but you also kind of have to learn how to talk to each other in a way where you don't want to, kind of speak out of turn to people that you don't know in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? It's like you almost have to learn how to speak to someone in kind of respectful way to kind of say, hey, this is what's got to happen, but, do it in a way where, people aren't gonna, take offense, kind of a thing.
Yes, it's all of that. Yes. But also you just have a kind of a mismatch of backgrounds. We've got the group that's played here that's used to how, the style that we've played, but we don't have all those same players. And so you have like a Tina who's a dominant low post player who can step out, like Maisha and Tina have had 2 practices together. And that's going to be a post combination that's playing a lot of minutes together. So, those 2 develop in a relationship. Tosh playing with, Sydney and Ariel as opposed to Lay and Z, like there's just combinations that literally haven't been on the floor together. Some people are naturally more inclined to speak up, but yeah, to your point, like yeah, it's a two-way street, giving it, hearing it, and then as Latoya on our staff always says, applying it, like actually applying the practice situation into a game. So yeah, communication is a skill like anything else.
Mhm. I want to ask a little bit, I was looking at, just some of the stats and numbers like that. I'm assuming the assist numbers aren't exactly where you guys would like them to be for a team that's kind of really known for sharing the ball usually. And I know this week has been a lot about, spacing and screening and who gets the ball where. Is that kind of just stuff that kind of goes together? Once you guys improve these things, you expect the assist numbers to kind of rise concurrently?
Yeah, when we make more shots, I expect the assist numbers to go up. Well, we actually looked today. I think we shot it so poorly those first couple games that it's still skewing a lot of our overall stats. I think we're like first or second in the league in 3-point percentage since those first 2 games, which you don't get any prizes for being first over a 4-game span. But yeah, I think that's just a product of all the things you mentioned: spacing, making more decisive reads, both as ball handlers and screeners. And then we got to make some shots. I think everybody knows, that Connecticut game the other night, we had some great looks in the third quarter and we didn't make any of them. Obviously, that not only would the assist numbers be different, but probably the score of the game.
Gotcha. And just kind of one last thing, I know the numbers are down this week. It sounds like you expect more folks back towards the later half of the week. I'm assuming, or I'm asking, I think Mike said you only had 7 folks yesterday, pretty much the same kind of situation today, the way you guys ran practice with not a lot of bodies.
Yeah, very similar. I think just being careful with a couple, and yeah, like you mentioned, hopefully having a couple more in by the end of the week. I think we're off tomorrow, probably by Thursday, hopefully.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Christy?
Just really quickly, just with Leilani and her making the opals once again in Australia, what's that going to look like? I know she's super excited. She was telling us yesterday about all the connections, with her family and her son Cash and, her mom passing and all of that. But what is that going to feel like, in about a month or so when she has to leave for that?
Yeah, I believe there's some stuff I know that hasn't been finalized yet, but I believe the Australian team, I think, is having a camp in the States. But yeah, we'll miss her during the break. But I mean, something we actually, when we added her to our team previously, she was coming right off the Olympics. So
right.
Luckily, she's a vet and somebody that knows what we're doing. I don't think we'll drastically change anything during that time. Is that what you're talking about, like not having her here to practice during the break?
No. Do you think, will she miss anything prior to the break? Any games or anything like that?
Shouldn't be significant. Yeah, I don't think they've finalized some things, but it shouldn't be like an extended period of time or anything like that.
Any number of games or anything like that, like ahead of it?
No.
Good.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a huge thing because I mean Sandy's obviously coaching the team, is in our league, and there's enough Australians in our league that I think they're cognizant of not disrupting everybody's schedule and teams and all that.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other final questions for Eric? I think that's it then. Thanks, Eric.
Easy. All right. Thanks.
Just got done beating who in 3-point contest?
TP. Leilani was there too, but she might tell you she won if you ask her, but she didn't win.
Oh, it sounds like there's some controversy about this win.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's cool.
Just wanted to ask you about your week. I know both Mike and Eric's been talking a lot about, you guys trying to spend this time to kind of get to know each other, what people's strengths and likes and things are like that. And, Eric pointed out, you've only practiced with Tina twice. So I'm just curious how this process is for you this week.
I mean, it's going well. We just trying to like get a flow and get a feel for all of us playing together. Tina wasn't able to practice today, so it was really just me and like Tosh and Lay trying to get like a feel for each other, where like I should be catching the ball more often and where to be setting the screen. So I think right now we're just trying to get a feel for each other and where's the best spot for us to catch the ball or to set a good screen for them. So
Is that just a matter of repetition, or is it almost like, I guess Eric talked a little bit about communication today. Is that just literally talking it out so you guys flat out know exactly where each person wants to do what?
Yeah, it's exactly that. Tina mentioned that too today in practice, like when she started practicing, like just tell them where you're gonna where we're about to, or we're diving to, like just say exactly what you're about to do, so there's no like indecisiveness or in between of where we're going. So yeah, I think it is just saying exactly where you're going, but also telling people where you want the ball, or so yeah, it mainly is just about talking, communicating.
Important, good time for a break for you, particularly considering you weren't at camp and didn't get any practices or anything like that?
What'd you say? What was the beginning of it?
No, I was just saying, you guys have this week off, basically. I was saying, is it a good time for that, just considering you kind of got thrown right into the mix without any practice?
Yeah, it is. It is a good time. We got this week, and then we have really good teams coming up too. So it's just gonna challenge us. So we have to be ready once we play the Aces. But I think definitely this week is helping us, and I think we'll be ready for it.
Cool. Thank you.
Welcome.
Christy?
Hey, Maisha, happy belated birthday. Gemini.
Thank you.
Gemini. Anyway,
Yeah.
with all of what Kareem was kind of saying, just getting into that mix with the team. I mean, you're not a rookie, but you're also not necessarily a vet. How do you kind of fit in that way with your usage of being communicative with your teammates and letting people know like what you like out of certain reads on the floor?
Yeah. You're right. Like I'm like right in between like that middle, like a rookie and a vet. But I think so this team is kind of new, right? So it hasn't been a lot of us playing with each other. And I'm one of the players on the team that has been here for like 4 years now. So it's like kind of like a vet in that way of knowing what Coach T likes, what he wants, and just trying to teach, or not even teach, but just like tell him, hey, like get to the dunker spot mostly, or let's try to do a step up here, or let's slow it down. So it's just like I kind of already have a sense of what Coach T wants. So it's just like I don't really look at myself as a rookie anymore, or like that in between anymore, because it's like I've been here for a while and I know what he wants, and just try to help my teammates in any way I can.
Thank you.
Kareem?
I did have one more for you, Maisha. I want to pick your brain on something. I'm curious, have you been paying attention much to the Naomi Osaka situation? And I was just curious what your thoughts on that is, considering, you've been dealing with, us as the media, since college and before, and you've played on the highest levels, and that balance between the stresses of the game and the mental toll it kind of takes on you guys. So I was just curious what your thoughts are on the scenario.
Oh no, I don't really know much about the situation. I know that she decided to step away from the French Open, but I didn't read much into it of really why she's doing it. So I really can't even touch on that.
Okay, it's all good. I was just curious.
I'll get back to you though.
Bet we'll come back.
Okay.
All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
I think that's it, Maisha. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.